On this episode of the Tuff Juice Podcast, I had none other than a close friend and former teammate, Chris Paul. CP3! It was an amazing episode. We talked about how this season ended with the coronavirus and also the 2011-2012 season where a trade was vetoed for him joining the Los Angeles Lakers and eventually joining the Los Angeles Clippers and becoming Lob City. And the regrets of not this capturing the moment in that time where a lot of things could have. I'll let you listen to the episode. We also talked about the legacy and what he wanted to be remembered as. The epic moment of him stepping on the ESPY stage with Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, and Dwayne Wade, and addressing social issues of the Black and Brown. You do not want to miss this episode. It is off the chain. Tune in to the Tuff Juice Podcast on the Himalaya app or wherever you listen to your pods. What's going on, my brother? It's a pleasure and honor to have you on the Tuff Juice Podcast. None other than CP3, future Hall of Famer, president of the NBA Players Association. What's going on, fam? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, brother. Appreciate you having me.
Man, come on, man. It's a pleasure and honor. I can't not start off this interview without addressing the current situation of the coronavirus and where we at in the state of where we at as a whole. What's your perspective on everything that you're seeing? I mean, you was part of the game with OKC in Utah when Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert and all that was announced.
Yeah, man, it was tough. I think we're all experiencing uncharted territory, So I think for most of us on a daily basis, we like to plan things out, whether it be I'm gonna go here or I'm gonna go there. And for me to be 34 years old, to have my family, my kids, and this is something that we couldn't prepare for. I don't think anybody could prepare for. So very rarely are there situations where no one in the world has the answer, and don't have the timetable. So, as best as you can, just trying to be there for, my family, friends, relatives, whoever it is, and try to stay home as much as possible.
Yeah, you're doing a great job of, practicing social distancing. The reason why we on this podcast,
Right.
doing it and streaming it the way that we're doing it. Can you just take us back to, that particular moment, you as the union president, when you found out that, it was something happening with one of the players in the association. I don't know if it was Rudy Gobert first, or obviously Donovan Mitchell did not test positive yet, but what was the protocol? What happened in the moment that y'all knew that an NBA player was tested positive for the coronavirus?
We were getting ready for the game, like any and everybody else, and when Donnie from my team ran out on the court, we didn't know what was going on. We about to do the jump ball, and after that, you go back to the locker room and you're like, man, like, think about it, this is my 15th season. I ain't never seen nothing like that. And as soon as they said that the game was canceled, I first got on the phone with Michelle, obviously Roberts, to let her know. She didn't know. Obviously, she didn't know yet. Anybody, no one knew. And then it was just like, wow, because leading up to that, there have been conversations about, when we started playing without fans, all that speculation was going on. Nobody knew that situation was going to happen. So once that happened, there was question marks everywhere.
Yeah. So speaking of, essentials being invited to the game, can you see an NBA season being played in the foreseeable near future?
Man, it's tough. It's tough. I'm not even like being political or none of this. Like I really don't know. I really don't know. I know the players that I talk to. Obviously, we hope that we can somehow, some way save the season. But it's tough to know right now because, like I said, this is crazy because we have no answers. Like nobody can predict if this is going to be this amount of weeks or that amount of weeks. So it's just the uncertainty.
Yeah. Going forward, I was on the phone and I did an interview yesterday with Yahoo Sports, and they was talking about some of the protocols that may be taken going forward, like when the season do come back, whether it's 6 months, 2 months, a
Right.
year from now, whatever. Um, Having some type of glass frame or something,
Wow.
courtside, from a distance standpoint. Do you think something like that could actually be incorporated in the game? Talking about courtside seating.
Man, that's the first I heard of that. I mean, it's crazy because you just never know.
Yeah,
That almost make me think of like a hockey.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But um, I think the thing that the league is going to do is figure out what's best for the players and what's best for the fans. You know what I mean? Whatever is going to make sure that everybody can have the best experience and make sure that the game is still as exciting as possible. I think we're going to explore every single um, opportunity, idea, whatever it is. If we do have to play some games without fans being there, at least people will be able to watch the games, because
yeah.
everybody's like, I don't know. Like usually somehow I try to find out the answers, but we don't have none.
Yeah. So pivot away from that conversation for a bit. I see you active, with your kids on social media and doing all the things. I'm doing the same thing, my brother.
Right.
What has it been like, with that being pushed away into the backside, the sport and the game, this quality time that you've been able to spend with your family and loved ones?
Man, what's crazy? CB is like my vets that I played with, whether it be you, whether it be Chauncey, whether it be Willie Green, all these different guys. Like me, I pay attention. You know what I mean to retirement or whatnot, and what life is like and stuff. And so, whether guys want it or not, but this is your first little taste of somewhat like retirement.
Hmm.
And last 15 years, I've always been on the go. I'm going. It's a game here. I'm here home for a few days or whatnot, taking the kids to school, but I'm not really there with them while they're at school and all this different type of stuff. So as unfortunate as this situation is, it's been unbelievable to be dad. Like seriously, man. Like I sort of get emotional thinking about it. Like waking up, seeing my kids, even having Chris in the backyard. Like a lot of times I can't like hoop with him or run around with it because I got a game the next day. So you want to save your legs or whatnot. But it's been trying. It's tough now. Don't get it twisted. This schoolwork is not a game. It's not a game. But
Fourth
man,
grade hard as hell, man.
what? And don't get me started. Listen, man. I've been washing clothes, cooked breakfast the other morning, man. So it's been dope actually being a full-time dad. You know what I'm saying, and husband. And so especially this year, living in Oklahoma without my family, man. This is what this time is. It's time to reconnect.
Hey, listen, and I'm so glad you said that because for me personally as well, man, it's the best time in my life right now. Being at home, teaching fourth grade, trying to help substitute teaching and doing all these things, activities around the house. It's crazy. Some of the things that we don't get a chance to do because we're so wrapped up in our professions and busy. But I definitely want to talk about just some of the things that a lot of guys have been doing to stay in shape currently. I've seen you working out. I see the balls. I see all the things. Like, what have you been up to, man, in the lab, just trying to stay, ready for whatever?
Man, it's crazy. I was in Oklahoma for a while, like quarantine, and I finally got out here to be with family. And before everything was like getting shut down, I was like, okay, this is what I know. I was like, I know I need like gym equipment. I need my gym because me and my family were actually in the process of moving, and so
Uh
I was like, gotta have a gym. Gotta have a gym. Man, listen. So after we finished school or whatnot with the kids, and it's been dope. Like I've never really gotten a chance to work out with my wife. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
so yeah, so me and my wife are in there and my kids, like all of us are in there, and it's just a breath of fresh air to work out. So I'm on a treadmill because listen here, I got that fat gene, CB. Trust me, I know.
I do too.
Listen, CB, I know myself. If I like today, I had a nice little cardio circuit, and I hit my trainers, and I was like, "Thank y'all, like for sending me to workouts or whatnot," because like I need that. That's a part. Like for me, that's a necessity with all that's going on.
Yeah, speaking of that project that you had came out with, Game Changers, and I recall Carmen sending me the invitation, and I come to the theater, and it's produced by you. I think who else? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan, a couple other individuals,
Yep.
high profile individuals. but it was something that I was not expecting to see on the big screen, and it was a lot of lessons. And I see you, DJ, and all you guys excelling this season. Does that has anything to do with the success that you're having this season?
I think it has a lot to do with success this season, along with my trainers, DP out of Florida. And so a combination of both. I mean, for me, with that game changers thing, it's funny. I almost don't tell nobody. You know what I mean? I was
It's
like,
like a hidden jewel, right?
Yeah. And it's tough. You know what I mean? It's tough because that's never been, your normal. You know what I mean? Eating that certain way or whatnot. And I tell you, like here I go talking about it, but like just to even talk about juice buds, like for
Yeah.
real, like when I'm here, I go get that acai bowl. You know what I mean? So the more you realize that like food is like energy for the body, you know what I mean, and that you don't have to hurt, you don't have to be sore, and so man, I feel better now than I did.
You feel like you got that cheat sheet, huh?
Yeah, listen here, I got it. I'm gonna keep it over here too for right now.
So we was talking and looking at the MVP ladder all season long, and I was just saying that you're definitely top 5 on that ladder for numerous reasons. But for me personally, just evaluating your season, I felt like this was one of your best leadership. This what you embodied the whole season. A lot of people felt like you wasn't be a disgruntled superstar or a vet, somebody that got a little long in the tooth that wasn't happy being in OKC, was going to try to pivot, give back some money, and go back to a situation where he felt was more this more uphill. But you did a remarkable job at adapting to your environment, adapting to your situation. Like, was that a challenge for you to like settle in and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna be the best version of me. I'm gonna develop these guys because, man, bro, from a leadership standpoint, I think this is your best job that you've done.
Man, I appreciate it, CB, and it's crazy because at some point we'll have a real long. When the season got over last year, and then I started training this past summer. My trainer came out, and we started from scratch. You know what I mean, and just rebuilding my body back up, right? Rebuilding my body back up, and it's crazy. We started back in June, and man, like I feel like I got a new body, like as far as like strength and this and being able to go left or move this way and all. And so when the trade happened, it's crazy. When I got traded to OKC, I tell people all the time, I wasn't tripping at all about the trade. I was just only upset because I knew I was going to probably be away from my family. Um, I've been putting so much work in and hooping that it was like, okay, cool. Everybody can speculate all this, or it's gonna be this, or it's gonna be that. You know that you feel good and that you can hoop. You know what I mean? It didn't matter where I went. And then once I got to OKC, it's funny because people don't realize like you have to prove yourself. You know?
Again, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm cool with that. Like they don't care what you done did. Like I got and I got to prove myself. I got to prove that I can play this night, or that you can be durable, or that you good. It's all. But I was cool with that because I put the work in during the summer and leading up into the season. And then the other part was we just got a great organization and a great group of guys. The leadership part, that's just us hooping. You know what I mean? That's just that.
Yeah, talking to Sam Presti, man, he said you give him pleasure and something to look for every time he come to work, just knowing that you're on that roster. And that's a hell of a statement, man, coming from him. And I think it's a testament to, all the hard work and sweat equity that you put into the game, man. So as a big bro to you, man, I'm proud of you. And, man, keep changing the narrative and keep going, man, because it don't look like you slowing down none whatsoever, bro.
Okay, man, it's crazy because you just, I mean, you look at Braun, you look at other guys play in their career, and it's, CB, it's about the work that you put in.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, even in this unfortunate time that we're going through right now, I didn't look at it as a break. You know what I mean? I look at it as an opportunity to get stronger, to get better in places that I wasn't. And that's the only way you're going to be able to compete with the young guys is coming in trying to take your spot year in and year out.
Yeah, and I think it's the toughest position in the league, man. When you look at the point guard position, like it's no nights off for y'all, bro.
No, not whatsoever. None whatsoever. I mean, that night that the season stopped, I mean, it was about to be Donovan and Mike Conley. So it don't ain't no quit at that position.
Yeah. So you talked about the trade, and I want to go back to 2011, 2012 season where a trade was pretty much resent or vetoed for you to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. Can you just touch on that a little bit and what you think the trajectory of your career, your seasons after that would have been if that would have happened? You joining the Lakers with our brother Kobe Bryant.
Man, I don't know. If that would have happened, which it did for a little while, like me and Kobe got on the phone that night and talked. It would have been crazy because we were so much alike as far as competitive wise, and who knows what would have happened? Who knows? I know one thing: people probably would have been in trouble because as hard as Cole worked, I would have fed off that. You know what I mean? I would have got a chance to learn something, and then also I feel like I would have took a lot of load off of him. You know what I mean? As much as Cole was killing and all that, like people don't realize how good Cole could shoot. And so at that point in 2011, 2012, I feel like I would have got an opportunity to get him some butt naked, like threes, like some wide open shots. You know what I mean? And him not having to hit everybody with all that footwork and all them double teams and trouble. So it'll always be one of those things, wish it could have been.
Yeah, man. And the time that, we spent with Lob City and the Clipper time, what was one of your biggest takeaways, from that experience?
Man, it's so crazy, CB, and people don't realize. Me and DJ talk like every day. Like literally before I got on here, me and DJ was on time. Literally about every day. And we talk about it a lot in that when you're in it, you don't appreciate it enough. And now, shoot, even last year or whatnot, like people always tag you on Twitter or stuff like that and these different clips. And I'm looking at all these dunks Blake was doing and DJ was doing, how excited we were. And I don't think I appreciated it enough then. You know what I mean? Even those relationships. I talked to Jamal Crawford 2 days ago because his son is like dunking, putting the ball between his legs and doing all this stuff. And that was a special time. That was a very special time. And I missed that, but we was just all too into probably ourselves at the time, man, that people, like, for years and years, they're going to say, oh, that team should have been, that. But we were what we were.
Yeah, man. I always say that too, man. As much as we were stacked and, we had Chauncey Billups, Lamar Odom, obviously the young nucleus with you, the perennial all-stars. We had the superstars. We had all that. And we fell a little short, man.
I was watching something the other day. I was watching that comeback that we had.
Oh, with Nick Young.
Yeah. I forgot you was hurt then. But, like, CB, we got some crazy. Your hand was messed up.
Yeah.
But then you came back. That's killer. Like, the fact that you played in that series with the broke hand. And then, well, I ain't going to tell everybody I did, but remember, like, we always having to get shot.
Yeah, man. It was going crazy with it.
My finger was
JP.
Your hand. Everybody was having to get that.
We're gonna to do a story on that shit one day.
Hey, I don't play with them pain meds no more.
Far away as possible, right?
Exactly.
Damn. You know what? I think about what you just said, and like sometimes when you look at stuff in hindsight, in the position that you're in now, being the Players Association president, why is it so important for you to you brought insurance and you brought those type of things to the table for the guys that laid the foundation for the game? Why was that important for you to do?
Man, it was important because it's so crazy how I think sometimes people don't understand the importance of vets. You know what I mean? Like, especially sometimes, like when GMs or whatnot, they constructing teams, they always get these young guys, but they don't understand the importance of vet. And vets teach you how to work. They teach you how to, be on time, be early, always. Udonis Haslam. I ain't never played on the same team with UD, but I always pay attention to him because he just worked, right?
Yeah.
But what vets do is they give you that knowledge. And when you're younger, you're not thinking about 401k. You're not thinking about insurance and co-pays and all that. But the one thing that all of us current players have in common is that at some point we'll be retired players.
Man.
You know what I mean? And so I think that was important. And we're the only professional league with that when I go play games in arenas now, it's so crazy when other former players, they don't come up and say nothing about basketball. They just be like, thanks, man. I be like, no thanks to me. It's a thanks to the entire body of players because we had to vote for that. But it's dope to know that we all have health care.
Yeah, where did that foundation come from? Because I know a lot of people are familiar with your story early on, with your grandfather, and just that stability with your father training you guys. Like, is it because you had those men in your life that groom you for this moment, or was it going through so much adversity that prepared you for this moment?
I think going through a lot and then always asking questions, learning. And my pops just always taught me about being selfish.
Yeah.
And, I always say, it's a lot of men, especially young African American men that grow up without fathers, right? And, whenever somebody wins something big, they be like, man, I want mama, you know what I mean? And CB, my mama, I love her to death.
Mama Paul, baby.
But my pops, my dad, who's always sort of just laying back in the cut, chilling or whatnot, like my pops always taught me how to be a man. You know what I mean? Taught me how to be a man about responsibility, about talking and communicating. And so I'm just always trying to learn and understand that it's more than just you. It's your team.
Yeah, and speaking of, always understanding and getting out your own way, I felt like one of your biggest selfless moments away from the basketball court was the ESPY Awards when you and Carmelo and D Wade and LeBron all stepped up there on that stage and identified the problem that was happening in the Black and brown community that needed to be, recognized and brought to light. Like, what was that moment like for all of you guys and you personally?
Man, that was a special moment, and it's crazy, man. Probably about maybe a month and a half ago. Excuse me. Lady named Mora, who was the executive producer for the ESPYs, who actually made all that come together, actually passed away.
I
So
saw that.
that was tough to deal with because without her, that whole thing would have never happened. So um, yeah, but doing that was powerful, and it, like we said, it was bigger than us, and we all got a chance to talk about something that affects all of us in different ways. And I think it gave athletes an opportunity too to understand that they can speak up on different issues, no matter what it may be, as long as they believe in it and don't be afraid to be who you are.
Yeah, ultimately, when you look at your legacy as a basketball player, I'm so proud to have had the opportunity to play with you. I consider you my brother. I consider you family. You know that. Like at a drop of a dime, you ever need something, I'm gonna be there. No
Always.
strings attached. And I know that goes vice versa. One of the reasons why you doing this right now, I know you could be busy doing a lot of things, but you always make time even when you don't have time, man, and I appreciate that. But what do you want your legacy to be? As a basketball player and most importantly as a human being.
Man, as a basketball player, first of all, I think just competing. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing that I bring to game, any team, whatever, is like the will to win. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, like my stats on a nightly basis might not jump out. I might not have 30. I might not have. Guess who? And don't nobody want to win worse than I do. And I don't care what it is. When we used to play them one-on-one games before practice, whether it's a shooting competition or whatever, you can think whatever you want to about me, but I'm gonna compete. You know what I mean? No matter how big, small you are, fast, slow, or whatever, like that's who I am when it comes to basketball. And then as a man, human or whatnot, I think the biggest failure for me would be that is if everybody remember me as a basketball player.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? If at the end of the day, at my funeral they just talking about me hooping, then something wasn't right. Something wasn't right.
Yeah, that you don't want that. I'm telling you, and that's something that me and Cole, used to talk about all the time. It's just our second acts, man. Like you want it to be special, and you want it to be better than the first one. And I felt like he was the measuring stick. He was the bar that he was breaking new boundaries and doing it and inspiring all of us to be a better version of ourselves. And you see that with LeBron James, and obviously with yourself as well, man. Tapping into different ventures and everything. So I'm extremely proud of you, brother. And one more thing I had for you. When I look at uh, just the social distancing and everything that's happening in this space, is there any words that you want to just say, to the people out there that's watching this, huge fans of yours?
Man, I think the biggest thing I want to do is send out a big thank you to, um, the medical workers and the people who are out there. Whether it's the people in the food and beverage business and medical field who are out there on the front lines day in and day out, exposing themselves, but once again, trying to make sure that everyone else is okay. I commend you guys, respect you guys. We got to keep trying to be there for one another in all different ways because everyone is dealing with this situation in different ways. So things like this, man, like this just even feels good. You know what I mean? To be able
Yeah.
to talk and interact. So all my boys that I grew up with back home, we got a group chat. I FaceTimed everybody. We all got on a group FaceTime today just so you can see and interact with people because everyone are faced with different challenges, with the layoffs or the furloughs and all this. So we just got to try to be there as much as possible for one another and try to beat this thing so we all come out stronger.
That's powerful, brother, and those words will echo. And I like to ask this last question as well. Like, what you've done in your career and how you've empowered your brother CJ and other family members, and you're a guy that always have your family around. Why is that so important for you to be able to do that, and important for that to happen?
I think that's important because one day basketball will stop. And, for my brother, whether it be Carmen or anybody who's part of my team, I always ask them their end goal. Because if the people working for you, if they, if my brother always wants to be with me right there, like right there with me, then that's cool too. But if he has different goals, then I feel like is, maybe not up to me, but I want to be able to help him to
Yeah,
get wherever. You know what I mean? I want him to be successful. I want any and everybody on my team to be successful because if you're the only one up there at the end of the day, then once again, you didn't do something right.
yeah, man, that's major. Well, I appreciate your time, brother, as always, man. And like I said, stay safe over there, man, and hit me up if you ever need anything on this end, because it's all good, man. Family for life,
Tuff
brother.
Juice Podcast. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Racine. One of these days, we're gonna talk to him about that club we went to in Racine on that road trip.
I appreciate you, Phil.
All right, see you.
All right, salute.
All right, later.